cancel topics start now. There goes our careers.
But yeah, that's just.
Now you guys go live on everything.
We're live now?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to the Gym Crashers. It's me, Joey the Bull, Adam Youngblood, of course, in the house.
Grappling Giraffe. We got to get my nickname down. One of
Something
these
like
days.
that. We got to give you some
Some
type of
days.
name. I hate calling you a giraffe because you look like a freaking giraffe. And the one and only Daniel, the Raging Bull, Arpajon in the house. What's up, brother?
Doing good, man. You're looking good yourself.
You know, I've been slimming down, trying to look like you, trying to be a champ like you, man. You know?
Sure,
I
man.
wish you brought up a year ago of like what Julie used to look like when you were on here,
Yeah.
like versus now, like all the progress.
No, man. I can see it now, man.
I can see everything now.
Looking good, dude.
So how you been?
I've been all right here and there, a lot of ups and downs, but doing fine so far.
That's cool. That's cool. And then still training at Black House, I assume.
Yeah, I'm training there, here and there. Again, ups and downs, and then it's like everything's kind of cutting in the schedule. So
Now I know it's been a while since we last talked and all that, but you know we had this whole thing, still an issue, COVID. Well, how were you doing in the whole COVID situation? Were you kind of secretly training underground, or were you just kind of just doing your thing, laying low, gaining
Ninja
weight?
style.
hell yeah, I was still training. I took no safety precautions at all, and I was getting a lot of hate from a few family members, a lot of friends. You know, they're like, you should be inside, you should be doing this and that. But I just took no safety precautions. I'm like, no, man, my training's important to me. It's like, and I'm thinking, you know, oh, it's gonna end anytime now. You know, and with all this whole lockdown and whatever, we're gonna be all good. You know, and then it's just, in my opinion, I'm just not scared of it. You know, I just chose not to be scared of it. I went off and just trained. Me and a couple buddies, a couple other team members and coaches took their time. You know, they want to see how things played out. Of course, a lot of them are older.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, the older the people are. You know.
Of course. And I was, you know, during the pandemic myself, I was in the same boat where, yeah, you're cautious, you're wearing your mask, and you know, my wife, she was very nervous at the time. So anytime we went to stores, I think we were more worried, and she was more worried about, you know, everything was going away, like water, toilet paper.
Right.
You know, fortunately, there was a Stater Brothers where we lived where they hid water. I knew where it was at. So I stood in the corner with my basket full of water and another basket full of toilet paper, and I said, babe, we're good. Just relax, you know, because that had to calm her down because she freaked out a little bit, you know. But I'm like, I mean, we're not going to lose water. We're not going to lose. There's enough toilet paper. Now we use the trees. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, live in the wild.
Grab a leaf.
Yeah. Use your hand, all right?
Use your hand.
No,
Thai
man.
style, you know, like John Wayne Parr did at 16.
Just don't be shaking my hand after.
Just don't be.
Don't be shaking my hand.
I love you, baby, but please. No, for me, it was ammo, man. I couldn't find ammo worth a damn
That's right.
near me. There was such an ammo shortage, and with toilet paper, water, and other necessities. I know at first we just bought a bunch of like canned food and we just stocked it up
Yeah.
in like a little cabinet or something, but. That's just about it, you know. We didn't really go the extra mile. Again, me and my family, we didn't panic, you know. None of us actually ended up getting COVID. In fact,
Knock on wood.
knock on wood, yeah. Man, I ain't getting scared of it. But, no, my mom apparently had it. I still went and visited her. She's like, "Oh, don't hug me, I'm sick." And I was just like, "Okay." She went and hugged me before I left, anyways, and I'm just like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
I didn't even feel no sick to death next 2 days. And I stayed home just for the sake of it, you know, just make people feel better. But even then, it's like I never got sick once. Not
Yeah.
once. The worst that happened to me was food poisoning.
Really, that's it?
That was it.
Just had diarrhea all day.
3 days, both ends.
Oh,
Gone.
jeez.
Wow.
That's a diet right there. That's
Yeah.
now you can lose some weight.
Huh?
What was the meal?
Ooh, sushi. Bad sushi.
Oh.
You know what? Funniest thing was I went to my nearest sushi spot. I used to go there before fights, you know, just grab something to eat. And it was good stuff. I walked over there. I saw, you know how they have the health inspector grade and whatnot? Mm-hmm. It said B on it. And the second I stepped in, I was like, should I be concerned about that? And I was like, who cares? I'm here all the time. It's not that big of a deal. Lo and behold, the next day I go training. I'm like, oh, I'm just feeling a little weak. It's fine. Once I get moving, I'll be okay. I go to pick up a bar because I'm about to warm up for 35 pounds for deadlift. I'm just warming it up.
Let's warm up.
And I couldn't lift. I'm just like, I couldn't grip it. At that point, I dropped it and I just said, screw it, I'm going home. I drove myself home. And then the second I sat down, I had to get up and go to the bathroom again.
Oh.
And then after that, it was done. That's it. I was screwed.
I can just imagine that if you waited like a half an hour later and you did that deadlift with 130 pounds and
Yep.
you know, like both ends.
Both ends. It's gone. It's
Look
done.
like the Bellagio fountain in Vegas.
I can never go back to that gym again.
Oh man, that's
We
terrible.
see Daniel in a gym fail compilation. It's just like, you're like, wait, isn't that
We know him.
we know him?
That would be embarrassing, man.
That
At
would.
that point, take me to the back, shoot me. I'll give you my shotgun. I'll write a letter.
Say, I love you, fam, but damn, I just shit myself in the world.
You gotta put me out, man.
How American is it, though, the fact that during a pandemic where it's a virus with flu-like symptoms, the thing we all worry about and run out to is ammo for everything? It's just like, toilet surge, grab your guns, we're going to have to fight over this.
I bought a shotgun, I think, it was in September, I think, last year, if I remember correctly. I just walked in. I think it was like 4:35 or something, and I just bought that thing. The thing's a beauty. I love it, and I take good care of her. And I just keep it
I love
like
the jitteriness he had as he said that.
Yeah,
like, I
I
take
love
good
it.
care of
I
her.
love
right?
I
Do not mess with Daniel Arpajon.
Oh no, I'm strapped. Like, I have a rifle at home, and I'm just like this. Come into my house uninvited. You're not leaving.
Damn.
But either way, it's just it sits right there next to my bed, just in case. But even then, that was like the commodity. Then was just firearms and ammo, and eventually people were trading ammo for shit.
That's great. Now, do you go anywhere local at an actual gun range, or do you actually go to the desert and start shooting away?
I used to. I went to Sharpshooter in Torrance, but they got closed down. And this state's not friendly to gun ranges, period. So
it's crazy.
It's awful.
But if you go to, I went to Scottsdale, Arizona two or 3 years ago, and their gun range, you could pretty much bring anything in there. And I was just impressed because it was this guy that had this big old shotty that just blew like the walls next to us. It was so freaking loud, even with you wearing your headsets, you could feel that vibration and that power, that poof, that combustion of those bullets spraying. I'm just like, holy shit,
it's crazy.
But that feeling of getting a rifle, handguns, and just spraying away at a target, I was pretty good. I missed the whole thing, but I had a couple of shots in the middle. I'm not the greatest shooter in the world, but it was fun. It's good. It's fun to let that aggression out sometimes with a gun. A lot of people don't agree to that. With me, I like the guns, like the archery, and all that stuff. But just to do it there, But
If anything, it's more of a sport. People treat it like it's this scary thing. It could be scary if it's in the hands of an idiot, but
an idiot, especially.
yeah. So I'm surprised they let me handle it, but but either way, man, it's like people treat it like it's a boogeyman, but it's not. It's not gonna bite you. It's funny. I said that one time to somebody because they didn't want to just grab my gun or anything. Yeah. They didn't want to touch it. They thought it was gonna explode. And I told them, "Wow, that thing's not gonna bite you." 5 minutes later, as I'm cleaning it, the slide of my Glock 19 goes forward and takes a piece of my hand with it. So the damn thing bit me.
Man, that's funny.
So
and you have those scare moments. I had a friend of mine that was cleaning his gun. And he's in this 2-story home, and his kids are outside playing, and he was cleaning, and then he forgot that it had locked in, and it went off, and it shot to the ceiling.
Oh.
Thank God there was nobody upstairs, and then from there he's very cautious. That he learned his lesson the first time. That's it,
Man, there's never an end to those kinds of stories. There's always some kind of story someone has where it's like their gun just exploded right out of nowhere. Or I had a friend who he says he was messing around. He says he was under the influence and stuff. This was like years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And he says he grabbed it. He's like, oh, har, I'm just like that. As soon as he went like this, he's like, yo, dude, it's not loaded. Watch.
Oh,
He goes right there. At that point, he just went like.
Yeah,
that's the story he always tells me about gun safety. He's like, don't be me, man.
That's
I won't.
That's a full-on wake-up call right there. So
that's like those great internet videos. Like my favorite one was the guy where he's like sitting there in like a rap video, and it's always like that. He's like all slashing the gun to like the camera and all that, and just boom, and you see his mom just busting.
Well, they're always holding it sideways.
Yeah, right.
You can actually hit somebody like this.
Sideways, and every time it goes off, the mom just is instantly in the room, ready to just whoop their ass with either a chancla, a belt, like whatever they got at hand.
Nunchucks.
Nunchucks.
No, man, that's just crazy. I took firearm safety super seriously. I think once I got the shotgun. Once I got the shotgun, I took it super seriously. I already had a Glock before then. Then once I got my shotgun, I really started to like invest myself in it.
Now I'm not mentioning where you live, but where you live now, do you have to like be strapped where your house is at, or is this something you just for safety, no matter where you know?
Now I do. Now I feel like I have to. It doesn't matter, no matter. Where
Nowadays it's crazy,
Yeah.
and people still in boxes in front of your houses just to steal something, you know.
Yeah.
And you can live in the nicest neighborhood. I see it all the time in the Marine camp, where you have nice houses like a mile away from us, and people are just driving up taking boxes. And I'm thinking, dude, like if I was a homeowner, I'd go outside and try to run after that person because I can't run too fast. I mean, I'm still losing the weight, but I can't. Everything's still jiggly.
Yeah.
You know. But
That's how
yeah.
Joey gets his cardio in, you know. He runs down local thieves.
One step at a time.
So now we're talking about guns. Now let's talk about training. Are you having anything up and coming right now? Like anything you're looking forward to?
I'm making a move into boxing. Eventually, I gotta get some amateur fights in. There's a couple opportunities that are gonna open for me if I get the amateur fights. So, I got again a lot of up and downs in my personal life. So I'm just trying to get those sorted out.
Yeah.
So like the sooner that's sorted out is the sooner I'm gonna be able to box. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go back and forth between MMA, boxing. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Now, that day when we saw your footage on Instagram and everything else, you sparred with the gentleman that beat the crap out of, or I can't say, well, basically knocked out Tito Ortiz in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you mean, basically? He knocked out Tito Ortiz.
I mean, okay, I'm not. I mean, I love Tito out of respect because you know
We love you, Tito.
you know it just
we all watched the fight.
he looked like a robot. And I mean, the way he was punching, I'm thinking. I mean, I'm a big dude. I mean, I can do better than that. But he was just the way he was. I'm like, I didn't get it. I'm like,
Right.
unless he was taking an easy payday. I mean, I have no idea.
People
Yeah.
claim that. What I really wonder if he kind of was trying to do like almost kind of like the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder like two like strategy where it's essentially I'm the bigger guy, so I'm just gonna clinch up and weigh down on you on the smaller guy to try and tire you out. But Anderson was just too quick for that, I guess. Like Anderson just, as you would know,
Yeah.
probably moves like water, and you
Absolutely.
can't just outweigh Anderson.
So did his people call you up and say, "Hey, we got somebody here to spar"? You just known him from in the gym and just messing
Well,
around?
it's kind of a trick story. It was one of his training partners that called me. However, he called me, but he handed the phone straight to Anderson, and Anderson straight up just called me by name, and he said, "Hey, can you come by and do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Name the time, place. Let me know where I'm going, what and how should I get there." And some time went on. He says, "Yeah, I'll let you know when camp starts." Once the camp started, he called me again to come over, and he's such a cool guy, man. He's a very down to earth kind of guy, very nice. The reason why they brought me in is because to them I was roughly the same size as Tito, so that's why they kind of kept me in. And they told me how they believed Tito was gonna fight. They told me to fight like that, and I was listening to their instructions. You know, just being a good partner or at least as best as I could.
Yeah.
So, and it was weird because there's a lot of people when they see like a big superstar like that, especially someone like Anderson. There's two things that happen. Either they want to rip his head off, which he hates,
Yeah.
or they don't hit him. And like because they put him on this pedestal of godhood, and they're just like they're scared if they touch him, they're gonna offend him or something. Like it's weird. Like they don't want to offend him, but he hates. I got a feeling he hates that too.
Mm-hmm.
However, the first time he ever actually sparred with me, I didn't treat him either way. I kept it right in the middle where I gave him the right respect, but I wasn't trying to rip his head off at the same time.
Yeah.
And at least that's how I saw it. And I gave him my ultimate respect. I was just, and I was already starstruck when I saw the guy.
I'm about to say that's crazy.
And that was the first time I sparred him over at Black House, but that was a while ago.
Yeah.
And then he calls me up to personally come and train with him, and I was like, hell yeah! So it was
because we did see a lot of people that we had in the show and people that we know in the fight game. Like, of course, you sparring with him. We also seen was it Big Surge, right? He was the corner cut man for him too. He was in the corner. I'm like, oh, I told my wife, I know that guy. It's like, I can't believe he's there too. That's freaking awesome. It's just amazing when you see people we know that they're in front of the TV screen and people that we actually had in our show and somebody like you. And I'm like, dude, he actually sparred with.
He's a good guy. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
You know.
He was cool.
I don't know why I'm calling him kid. He's the same age as me, probably. So he's a good guy.
There we go.
Yeah, you guys are back up.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens, you know. It's just crazy. Are we still
We're
going?
just
right?
that great. We'd be breaking the internet, you know.
Yeah, it's just because we have this man here on the stage and just up in front of us talking about the stories. Of course, we kind of like we were talking about Anderson Silva and how you got to spar with him a while back. And then his people called you up. He called you up saying, "Hey, I got this fight with Tito. Now you're training with him in this camp."
Yeah.
So how'd that go?
Pretty good. The first time I went, I was not feeling my best. I felt a little. I felt, lack of a better way of saying it, I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, and I totally was just not moving the way I used to.
Okay.
So or that I'm used to now. So it was definitely a weird change of pace. The second time was a lot better for me, and the third time was also just as good. It's when I was training with Anderson, and again, it goes back to that he doesn't want someone there to rip his head off. That's not what they're there for. You know? There's a lot of guys who train like that
just to prove their point.
Yeah, just
like
to prove.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even just to prove the point. There's guys that are just there, like giving each other concussions, and there's guys who spar 3 times a week, 4 times, and I'm like, and they're just going hard every single time. That's like, that's not the way you want to train, you know. And Anderson understands it.
Short burnout.
Oh yeah.
It's like they get good quickly, but also for the longevity costs, not there.
You're not going to be in it for that much longer, man. And with Anderson, you know, and he's an older guy, so he's not going to try to sit there and scrap with you for what?
No, for what?
For sparring points?
No way. Hell no. He's
No,
gonna.
I was not there to win a sparring match, not in the slightest.
No.
Yeah, but either way, Anderson was moving really good when we were training, you know. And again, really nice guy, very good, very good movement, very good technique. And on top of that, it's like after we would train, I would sit down with him and I would just talk to him, you know.
Yeah.
Just talk to him, just have like a normal conversation with him. Ask him for advice. He gives great advice. The guy's really wise in the whole martial arts aspect. Very smart.
And I noticed that he's actually, you know, like I said, just meeting him in person for the first time at Spar Stars. We did like about a month ago. His son, I mean, just basically dominated that whole fight within the first round, and just him showing the passion for his kid, being there for his kid.
Fighters Rep, wasn't it?
It was Fighters Rep, yes. And I think we have George Francis watching. What's up, George? And he mentioned that this gentleman right here was Fighters Rep champ once, right?
Yeah, for cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight. So yeah, George,
Was
there you
that
go.
for MMA or just kickboxing?
That one was for MMA. I think
Yeah.
that was his last MMA show before he went to kickboxing.
Met your friend Anton.
Anton.
Anton Bex or Anton.
Oh yeah. How
I
was
went
that?
to lunch with this girl, Dolly Pistols. I can't remember her real name.
Yeah.
But she does like nunchucks and shit. And they were thinking about doing a project. And then I told her, yeah, I'll meet up with her. We'll talk about what we could do, what we could film.
Mhm.
She says, I'm going to bring Anton with me. And she brought that guy and I met him. And I was like, dude, I
Yeah.
seen you before. And then I realized where it was. It was because you brought him to Gym Crashers when we had our gym together.
Yeah.
And he was there training. That's how I remember seeing him.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. And it's funny. It's like his martial arts experience is just as good as anyone I've actually ever personally trained with in the martial art or MMA industry, I guess. Like it's really good, you know?
What do you mean by that, like in terms of his MMA experience or martial arts experience?
He's a Filipino guy that excels with Chinese kung fu, you know?
Oh.
Like kung fu, like martial arts and stuff. He's done a lot of stuff. And
Oh,
again,
you mean like traditional
Yeah.
kind of style and like going kind of more back into it?
Yeah.
He's a 2-time Kyokushin world champion.
Oh.
is he really?
Some shit like that, dude.
Anton, you never told me.
As Robert just
He
informed us
posted it,
off
that's how I
camera,
saw it.
he's a
What?
two-time
Yeah, he
Kyokushin
posted,
karate
like-
karate champion.
All right, then that's my bad. I'm sorry, Anton. I love
He
you.
posted it.
I love you.
He's such a cool dude, man.
Great
And
guy.
the funny thing is, I've only seen him in his IG and pictures, and it was a little. I knew he was an Asian dude, so I was thinking in my head he's probably like 5'7", 5'8". Dude walks up jacked at 6'2". I'm like, what? Where did you get this Asian anomaly from?
Oh my God.
That's
He's
funny.
big, dude. He's a
Yeah,
big
he's a
guy.
tall dude, man.
He's pretty big too.
Yeah, I remember one time we were lifting together, and he's just like casually deadlifting, like I think almost 400 pounds, and I'm
Oh,
like,
just
oh,
casual
Just
well.
casually.
A casual PR.
Way to show me up, Anton. Thanks, man. I'm only like what 50 pounds, 60 pounds heavier than you, and you're
That's
out lifting
funny.
me. What's up?
And he's like just chill. He's also like a creative guy.
Yeah.
So he's not full of himself. Like he'll do like funny dancing and whatever. Don't care.
He actually trains with me and my coaches and Tommy Aaron. He trains with us a lot when he can, So I mean, and we don't keep people around to come train with us all the time if we don't like them,
Right.
or if their character's out of order. I mean, you don't want to do business with anyone with a bad attitude, So it's
No.
like, and he has such a good attitude. Again, really good guy. I'm really happy he's around.
Yeah.
Even during the lockdowns and everything at the start of COVID, he was just like not caring. He was all cool about it. He was still down to train and everything.
I feel like that's an interesting mix of styles of like you, Tommy Aaron, and then obviously your friend with the Kyokushin background and kind of a traditional martial arts style.
Oh yeah.
As you guys all have like, I'd say like these modern mix of MMA styles, but also incorporate old school style martial arts as well with just kale and just the
Yeah.
way you all move.
Oh yeah. With Tommy, he's definitely more French savate. It's a really big part of his game, which I recently asked him, hey, I need you to teach me strictly this because, like, I've been on a martial arts binge lately just because I want to get better. And Anton has a lot, I think, in Wing Chun, in the Kyokushin as well. So I'll ask him stuff every once in a while. And my coach, Coach Willie Loreno, he's crazy. He knows everything, man.
Yeah.
I always ask him, what if they go for this? What if they do that? Or how about this? What if I'm in this situation? He always has an answer.
Yeah.
So it's always really cool to just kind of pick everyone's brain about things,
Now, are you still messing around with those Filipino fighting sticks?
Oh yeah, I'm messing
No
around
way.
with knives, sticks, guns. I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, so what that
AKA
means
Daniel
is
Arpajon is a bad mofo. Don't mess with him.
When the zombie apocalypse comes,
I'm calling Daniel.
We'll follow that guy.
Follow Daniel. When the world starts falling apart, I'm looking to you, my guy. Like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna run at his
When he
place.
runs out of bullets, he's still got
Yeah.
all the other weapons.
I got a bunch of stuff, man.
I can still kill the zombies. Because of that.
Yeah, that's why at
I'll
that
just
point
be hand
you're,
trapping and all this.
you're gonna
stuff,
see me
like,
wrap
all
my
the
hands
time.
in duct tape just so I don't get bit.
That's funny. That's funny. And George Francis, hey, I look like a hitman, and that's what he says. I look like a hitman today. That's George Francis. George Francis from Fighters Rep. One of our homies there.
I
So
know. Shout out to George Francis.
God bless you, George.
can't wait for his next event, man. And then speaking of Silva, his son is actually going to be fighting this next event coming up too. So it's going to be kind of crazy, watching them coming through and then hopefully maybe you show up and we can have you come down and check out the. I'm not sure where the location is going to be in the same spot or not, but
Hopefully, man. I haven't been to a fight in a while, and that's my fault. I've been too wrapped up in myself. I've been wanting to go out to a fight with a bunch of people and just
Yeah, 'cause-
just enjoy.
Come out. The
Just
events are back.
Yeah.
yeah, we just
Miss you.
did Spar Stars with Fighters Rep and just watching the two events the same weekend. It was pretty crazy. Just watching everything from kickboxing and the next day cage fighting. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts, and watching camps going at it is just pretty sweet. It's crazy because these are camps that we have on our show.
Yeah.
Then you're watching these guys, going against each other, and you're like, you don't know who to cheer for. You're like, I like this guy over here, and I like this guy over here, but you got to keep it neutral, when you're interviewing everybody. So
I feel like it's almost kind of like feeling like, at least from our perspective, like being like the grand spectators of this like crazy dojo war times.
Oh yeah.
Like just getting to like hang out and like be in the scene, like getting to know all these people in the gyms, because obviously we love everybody. Like, everyone in this community is pretty cool for the most part. And so it's like it's watching everyone go head to head. You're just praying like everyone just make it out safe, like in this crazy war.
At the end of the day, it's a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport.
You know, it's who was it? Oh man, I had a really good conversation with someone the other day. They're talking about like, oh, you know, everyone takes this so seriously. You know, it's like it's life or death. If they lose, you know, that's it. Their lives are over. I'm like, man, it's a sport. You know, you like.
Yeah.
I mean, my first loss, I broke my nose, and I had to pay. I don't know how much. My father helped me out, and we just went straight to the hospital. I had to get Medi-Cal and all that stuff, and it was just crazy. I was stuck in a hospital bed, just like with a broken nose, and I'm just like, what the. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, holy crap, it's over. You know, I embarrassed myself in front of all these people, etc. But that's because I was so full of myself and I put too much faith in myself. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have put more faith in my training. You know, because at the end of the day, this is just a sport. You know,
Yeah, it is.
And if you like literally 2 weeks from now, no one's gonna remember you lost.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, they'll think about it, like, oh, yeah, that's right, you know, you lost that fight. But you're going to have to go train the next day. Or, I mean, unless you got injured or something. But you're going to have to go train still. You're going to go back. And then you're going to fight again. That's just how it is.
And a lot of people don't see that behind the scenes because, you know, we know a couple local fighters that actually fought each other in Spar Stars. And then the next weekend, they were just hanging out in the same gym, just mopped up the floors like they were homies.
Mark?
Exactly.
I know.
Love you, Mark.
Love you, Mark. Shout
Love
out,
you, Mark.
man. I haven't seen him in a while, man. Love you. I hope you're doing good.
He's doing great, man. We had him on our
He's just
show a
fine.
couple weeks ago. Him, and then we had Blake the
Gabriel.
Builder. And Gabe.
We had Gabe as well.
Yeah.
But also we had Blake the Builder last week. So it's kind of cool having that whole bringing back some of the guys that we had a year ago, and then trying to
Now
bring
we
in new
got you.
faces. You know.
Back for what? Like the third time I've been on this show?
I have no idea. I think the first time I met you, I think it was almost a year ago, and we were talking about crazy stories, and I had to clean up my act a little bit because we're trying to become a corporate company,
A little more official.
a little more official. Can't talk about,
Just get more official than half sacks. Like, how more official can you be?
I don't know,
don't
but
know.
I'm a changed man,
Well, God bless.
Hallelujah, guys.
man.
I mean, you were talking about eating bad sushi. There's a lot of bad sushi off Beach Boulevard right now too. So I'm just saying.
Don't worry,
I have
Joey
not
still got a
since
sense of
then.
humor.
Since then, I have not had sushi, man. I can't stand it.
It's funny you say that because that's how I was with Jaeger. I was back when I was consuming a lot of alcohol. And
Wow, Joey days.
my wild Joey days, and vodka, I could do shots of this, and like Everclear, no problem. But Jaeger, somebody decided to get Jaeger and mix it with something else. Drank a couple of shots, I was already done, right? And next thing you know, I tried to take a bite of a burger. I got mad at my burger, I threw it across the lawn, and I was like, I ain't feeling good. And next thing you know, it was like it was Mother Nature taking over. It was just.
Story got grosser and grosser,
and
starting off from the shots.
I just can't do
Especially
Jägermeister.
as a beer guy myself, I'm not a hard liquor guy. That story is.
Now I'm a little older now, so I like drinking wine, a little whiskey, a
Oh,
little
wine.
pickleback, a little.
Wine.
Speaking of wine, I'm actually doing that
I
this
love how he
weekend.
just went so fancy. It's like a wine, a little bit of whiskey, a pickleback, and which is pickle juice and whiskey.
I love that.
It's like that's the most atypical really college bar kid drink ever.
That's some frat boy shit.
That is some frat boy stuff.
You're talking about me,
Joey,
I'm still young at heart, but honestly,
still like
but this
that
weekend,
dude.
I'm going to go have some wine at Wilson's Creek on Saturday. So if y'all want to say what's up, that's where I'll be Saturday, drinking some wine. Well, trying to drink a glass of wine because after my surgery, I can only probably drink one glass and it'll last me the whole situation. Because before I used to drink probably 3 bottles at the winery and cheese and all that stuff, and then go out to steak after it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now I can't do that. Just one sip, I'm a cheap date. I'm yours all night. Put my head on your shoulder. Just take me home. After that shot of Patron, one shot.
One shot of
God.
Patron.
Man, I can't even drink these days, man. I just can't. Like I try. I try to
Yeah.
get out. I'll have a beer with the homies. I try hard seltzers. But yeah, I thought they were cool at first.
They
that's all
are,
right.
and then they catch up to you with the day after. Like you think you can avoid, you think you can avoid the beer shits by taking the seltzers, and then it's the same. It's basically
So
the same
okay, so it's
result.
not just me.
No,
I
it
get,
is
I get the
not. I
shits.
thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh man, finally you won't have to have all this just basically carbs sitting in your stomach and all
Yeah.
this stuff. You can feel good for the next day. few weekends out, and I'm like, wait, I still feel the same. This isn't like, this just tastes worse.
Well, if I ever catch you drinking a seltzer, I'm gonna pass you a bottle of Summer Disease to clean that down there.
No, man, I can't.
I love how also cut to like a few weeks ago with Topo Chico.
I can't, man. I just can't do alcohol anymore. I'm a lightweight. I just can't. I was never a drinker to begin with.
Yeah. No,
You know,
I feel you, Daniel.
Especially when I was fighting a little more consistently, and there was no time to drink, you know, because I would have a fight and then, or sometimes, I think I had like 2 cancellations.
Oh, jeez.
I think one time, I think it was 2018, I had like 2 cancellations. Thank God it wasn't like one of those, well, like, oh, I show up but my opponent doesn't show up. It's just like they told me ahead of time and they just couldn't find me an opponent.
Wow.
And then I had one where they said, oh, we don't have an opponent for you. I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there. I'm literally having like a bourbon because I never drink. I'm like, screw it. I'll have a bourbon with a homie. I'm smoking a cigar with them.
Nice.
Then they call me that
That's like
exact
some classy
time.
gentleman stuff.
Yeah, I'm
You
just like,
feel like such an adult when you're sitting there drinking like a bottle or like drinking like a cup of like bourbon or scotch. You know? And you're like,
out of your sippy cup, right?
yeah, man, I'm just sippy cup.
I can imagine this guy in a sippy cup with little handles and.
Yeah, I may be 22, still look 17. Still look 17.
So you're smoking your cigar, you're having your drink, and then they give you a call.
The exact time that I'm doing all that.
Oh,
And
shit.
I'm just like, they're like, hey, next weekend, we got you the same opponent. It's the same guy they were told me I was gonna fight to begin with.
Oh,
And
jeez.
they said, but they tried to match it up, but they couldn't find no one. They're like, okay, this is all we could do. Would you want to take it? And I'm like, yes. That's all I told them. And then after that, I look at this, I put it down. I'm like, I can't even have this.
Oh, man.
I'm like, well, my friend was just like, I'll put the cigar in a baggie and you can have it after you win.
After you win, you
That's
victory
the
cigar.
motivation too. It's just like you ruined all my happiness. I'm gonna put this suffering into you.
I was having a good cigar day with my homie, man.
And now
he
it's
took it
like-
away.
And now I gotta beat your face.
Now you're mentioning now you're trying to like do the transition to boxing.
Yeah.
Now out in the boxing field now, I'm pretty sure you're going to be doing heavyweight. I'm assuming
Heavyweight, yeah.
So do you see any competition out there for you that you know you can in your mind say we're not having people in front of your face in your world in your mind you're thinking I could take him, I could take him, I could take him. Who is that opponent out there right now that's up in the ranks that you think you could have a good one-on-one clash with?
Let's get that call out going, Danny.
We're not calling out. We're just saying like like
Before I even start, kind of.
Nah. Make it hype.
Well, Andy.
Anderson?
No.
Or Andy Ruiz?
Ruiz.
Honestly, I think Andy Ruiz would be a more tougher fight for me.
Really?
If I actually, there was one opportunity I saw him at a gym I used to train at called Legends Boxing. You remember it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that, I saw him there once, but it was already way too late into his camp when he was going to fight Joshua to where I couldn't just like go and just say, hey, I'll throw myself in there as a body.
Dude, that would have been awesome.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
It would just been awesome.
Yeah.
But it was already way too late after that, and he was just hitting the bag. He's just moving, and he already has like a designated partner and all that stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, there's no point in bugging him. I think, but after seeing him fight, after seeing him train, I was like, okay, he would be the harder match for me. I think personally,
Really?
I would not mind a crack at Wilder. I think I could take him.
Damn.
And it's like,
Yeah.
Right here.
and I've been hit by some tough motherfuckers, man. I've been hit by some big dudes, like just square across the face.
Can you name some of those names that you got hitting, the big dudes that you're talking about?
Joe the Future Hanks. You could look him up. He was former, I think, IBF champion.
Joe the Future Hanks.
He, I think one time he literally hit me so hard that it like I remembered something. It's funny. He's called the future, but he brought me back to the past.
Oh, shit.
I remember something like a dream I had when I was like 5 years old or something. I don't know. It was
Wow.
super crazy. And that was the hardest I've ever been hit in
He
my
knocked
life.
a memory into you.
Yeah. I was like,
What?
no, that's messed up, man.
Damn.
There's this
He
other
put you in
guy.
a therapy session.
There's this other guy, really big dude. He clocked me once, but it was kind of in the back of the head.
Oh, no.
To be fair, he was wearing these midget gloves, these really thin gloves, and I was wearing 18s.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
these
so
big
kind
old-
of like the Thai boxers, like bag gloves. Almost.
Yeah, so I'm wearing like these, this.
Yeah.
He's not feeling anything I'm throwing at him, and I'm just feeling everything he's
Oh,
hitting at me,
God.
and I'm just like, dude. And I was so pissed. He clocks me right in the face, And I felt it go like that, so I'm assuming it was the back of the head too. But it literally I tripped, and then I tripped and I was over myself because I couldn't move my foot. I thought I did, but I ended up going. So I think it was a clean shot that he got me with.
Wow.
So that was the only time I've ever been dropped, ever, in sparring or in a fight.
Now, you say you like Wilder, so you studied his moves, you studied the way he moves around the ring, so you kind of know like where to go after him when it comes to say when this happens. I mean, it'd be amazing. I'll be like, dude, he said over here on the show that he'll take him out, basically.
And again, it's the same thing with every big guy that you could ever fight. You always go for the body.
Oh, of course.
You always go for it. Unless like it's a kickboxing match and then at that point it's like you could kick their legs out and then take the body. It's like, and then you work your way up.
Because you watch a lot of old Tyson film. Tyson did it all the time.
Yeah.
Body, boom, boom.
Exactly.
It's just body, uppercut, then hook.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Body, hook, uppercut.
Well, also too with Tyson, the thing that I don't think he gets enough credit for was also his defensive prowess too.
Yeah.
Like he would get you to swing, and he would open up the body by getting you to overextend, just come right in. Like,
And I spent so much time watching Tyson videos and Customato videos just till I can further my own knowledge. And there's so many people that say, oh, you got to do this when you hook because that's how Tyson did it. You got to do this, you got to do that. Look how he slips his head and going forward, this and that. I would copy these things and then I would test it out myself. And a lot of the shit that you hear is wrong, man. It's just wrong. It's if any like Tyson's defense was the strongest thing about him because it set up his offense so well.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And when that happens, man, it's over. You know, because you look at Wilder, the dude's all offense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure he's gotten better now, but it's like
he's finally throwing a jab on his bag work at least.
But even then, he's all offense. You know, there's and then I think you saw how Fury kind of just exposed him. You know.
Well, it's like Teddy Atlas puts. It's like when you have Thor's hammer in your right hand, you know, that's always going to be your safety out. That's always going to be your way out. Mm-hmm. And he's had one of the best way outs within boxing, enough to bring him to now a trilogy fight with Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
You know, but the unfortunate part about him being an athletic freak and having this insane power, his fundamentals and his actual boxing skills just weren't there. I feel like it almost you got pushed too quickly, I'd say. You know, he reached success too quickly before his skill set could match up to his talent.
Right. I can agree to that. Like, I mean, the dude's an athletic monster. Mm-hmm. You know, athletically, he's just a specimen.
Alabama for football, I believe.
Was it
basketball?
Really? Yeah. I thought was it basketball or football he was in? It was.
I think high school standout for both sports and then college standout for basketball. Actually.
Okay.
Correction.
Yeah, because I remember reading like this old story about how he had like a job on the side where he was just like delivering water jugs. You know that job?
Oh yeah, he worked for like a beer, like he drove a semi truck for like a Budweiser or like a beer company, and he would just like haul those. And like one day, I think his daughter had some kind of condition where he basically decided, I'm gonna box for my daughter to save my daughter's health. And within a year, went to the Olympics, won a bronze medal, and it was off and running from there.
That's just crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, the guy. And what can you say? The guy just. God bless him, you know. Like, I mean, there's very few people who could just do that.
But you'd beat him.
I'll just beat him.
I agree with that.
I mean, many times I tried to beat Mike Tyson on Nintendo. I couldn't beat him. I mean, I tried, blowing the game, trying to make it start, trying to
up, down, down.
Like, I tried, and Tyson always kicked my ass on the Mike Tyson Punch Out.
And my thing's always been knowledge. It's just the knowledge of everything, you know.
That's good, and I'm glad you're taking that knowledge, and I can't wait to see you in that ring, man. It's going to be amazing once we see you making that little amateur fights, and then eventually going to pro. And we can say, dude, he said it right here on our show that he's going to beat that ass, and he did, you know, which is amazing. And I'd like to give one of our huge big shout out to one of our sponsors, Our Life CBD. Our Life CBD's in the house. Once we got Sean in the house, he's here. Check out his stuff, ourlifecbd.com. Check out all of his drops, his lotions, everything, the creams. He has it all. Coconut oil. He has it all.
The Delta 8.
Delta 8. I had a sample of that, and it was nice.
Anything else we forgetting, Sean?
What's the one in Spanish?
Nuestra vida.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, he said it right. My Spanish is terrible. I'm sorry, folks.
And I am Middle Eastern, somehow pronounce it right.
Now I'm as American as it gets, all right?
He has guns.
I mean,
we'll box you up. We'll wrestle you.
I mean,
Daniel's just an American hero.
and that's what I tell people. I can read a menu. I know the bad words, but everything else in Spanish, I mean, yeah,
Story of my life.
that's me. Everybody makes fun of me. You a pinche coconut? I'm like, I know I'm a coconut. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
So are we going to bring up some fights this weekend?
We are. We're gonna. Well, actually, let's go over the Triller Legends fights first, and talk about that. Since we were discussing boxing and Anderson Silva and a bit of that, let's get into that card, and then we'll break down this upcoming UFC card. So I guess to recap the events of that great Triller fight. We all saw it. We're just gonna talk about the co-main and the main event. The incredible Anderson Silva knockout. What'd you guys think? What was your opinions on it? I thought it was great. I know everyone was saying, and you brought it up earlier, oh, Tito took a dive. He did it for the money, yada, yada, yada.
I never said that.
He never said that. But that's been the buzz.
I might run into that guy
around.
one day. I'll show him how to fight.
All right. And so that's been the buzz that's been going around. Oh, payday, took a payday, But what I really think what it came down to, again, I brought it up earlier in the show. I think it was really I'm the bigger guy, so I'm away on this guy, try and tire him out throughout the rounds and, put him away through TKO or just point him to a decision by using my size and just trying to tire him out. But again, unfortunately, whenever you give Anderson an opening, he will take it. We've seen this time in and time again, throughout his career. And then on top of it too, Anderson looked incredible against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a boxing fight before that. So we know Anderson's hands, speed, and timing was all still there. So it really just came down to Anderson just coming down, ducking in and just throwing that great right.
And a lot of people were using excuses about, Tito had to cut down all this weight and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you have to be prepared for that. I mean, regardless of, I get it. You have to lose weight, gain weight, whatever. But, dude, you didn't have to lose that much or gain that much? What do you have to do?
He had to go to 185.
And that's not much. I don't see I don't get it. You have to be prepared as a fighter, a warrior in the ring, in the cage. You got to always be prepared.
Didn't he also officially miss weight too?
Yeah, but he was 200.
Yeah, he was 200.
To me, I think I thought, I was kind of rooting for him because deep down inside, he's a OC boy, lived in Santa, a block away from me, and he moved to Huntington Beach when he was a kid and all that shit. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. And I was kind of rooting for him, and then when I saw him in that ring, it was like a rock'em sock'em robot, the way he was. It was stiff. And I was like, oh, and then once Anderson did the side, hit him in the chin, top of the hip, done. I'm like, so sad. But what do you think? I'm sorry. I just got a little excited there.
You're right about when you leave, if you give Anderson any opening, if you're just not paying attention, he's going to take it, man. He caught me with a sick uppercut, I think the second time we sparred. Mm-hmm. And it was a good sparring match, but it was the last round me and him had together. And he caught me with this sick uppercut, and I was like, fuck. I was like, damn, he got me. It was square. It hit me in the face. I'm like, oh, my head. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, I need to kind of cover up here. Yeah. And then eventually, we went back to moving. But you're right about that. And unfortunately for Anderson's fight, it's one of those things where it's because it was so short, you can't really say too much about it because there's not much to go off of.
But it's a hell of a highlight.
Oh, hell of a highlight. It was great.
I was losing my mind when I got sent that.
But in like what you said earlier about Tito, and he just, he's sitting there just, yeah. Even I was thinking, I was like, Tito, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell?
We were all, everyone I know, every fighter I knew, everyone at my gym, everyone was sitting there what was those hooks?
Yeah.
I'm still that's why I've just had to come up with he had to outweigh him. There was no way he thought he was going to do damage with that.
The weird part is that the hooks, it was if this is Anderson's body, they were out here.
Yeah.
And it's okay, they're not in the way of his punches or anything where he can't hit you back.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, you can go here, boom, boom, here.
Well, I'm sorry. What I think what happened, I think Tito had a mindset that he was still fighting in a cage, not fighting a boxer. Tito got in his stance where he's out
crazy,
here.
Joey.
Because honestly, a boxer is like this. Tito was he wasn't in a boxer. He was way out here.
You know what I think happened? This is my theory.
Here we go.
All right, Robert's
mad.
Theory.
Tito and Anderson they probably had an idea of just they got entertained a little bit. And I
Don't
think-
you say it was a gentleman's agreement, Robert.
No, not gentleman's agreement. I think Tito was like, okay, I'm gonna just go in and just have take it easy a little bit, more, And Anderson hit him, and then it was like, oops. Anderson was like, oh shit, because if you watch him, he looked at it like, oh, did I put him away already? Wait, because I swear Tito looked like he just kind of. It didn't look real, like his punches. Like,
Yeah.
It didn't look
It
real.
looked intentional.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's crazy about it too. Like most people say, like, oh, Anderson ducked all those punches. One of those punches actually hit Anderson in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But he didn't even react. So it's just like if you're getting punched in the back of the head and not reacting.
he has a very good poker face.
Yeah.
And, like even if I ever caught him square, he has a very good poker face to not show that I hurt him or anything or even touched him.
My one argument against that, Daniel, again, you are not throwing out here. I like to believe in your boxing skill that you would do much
better
than Tito did.
I think so too.
I just don't understand. To me, it looks like there was no harmful intent at all with Tito.
Yeah.
It looked like he was.
There was no
like,
aggression.
It was like one of those things where like, oh, let's just play. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna make pretend.
No,
You know, so
man.
I said, okay, I'm gonna make pretend too, but oh shit, I hit you a little harder than I thought. Okay, well.
Oops.
So Robert's claiming it was a case of like, okay, we're gonna entertain for the
We're
first
gonna
few
play
rounds,
patty
and then
cake for a little
Anderson
bit.
went too hard,
Like a Thai fight does.
like
you
a
know?
Thai fight,
Yeah.
basically, where they were just doing Thai fight style of like, we're just gonna get, we're just gonna feel out the first 2 rounds, get all the bets in, and then Anderson decided, I got my bets in now. We're just gonna end this now because I don't get paid by the hour.
He just reacted and just like, oh, I mean, even his. I mean, I know he punches super hard from my understanding. Even that punch didn't even look like it had all the stank that he could have put on it.
Yeah.
It was just a counter, bang, and I was like.
He followed up though. He followed up.
They weren't like. He wasn't totally extended. He kind of clipped and then went like this after. It wasn't like. I don't think he meant to.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard thing.
The thing is that like, and then this also goes back to when people saying it was fake, like, and I think I agree with you a little bit on there. I think there was not this unspoken agreement, gentlemen's agreements
I
that.
think there's an agreement. I think he was. Just
It was
intent,
unspoken, yeah.
I wasn't gonna. I'm not going 110 right away. I'm just gonna, get
Yeah,
a little,
Tito's probably thinking like, oh, it's a Legends fight. All right, we're just gonna, we're just gonna be easy, a little
Maybe.
bit of action, entertain the crowd, walk home with the bag, and
and you find out,
Anderson.
that's not Chocolate Velvet.
That's
Anderson.
yeah, that's
different.
Anderson Silva.
He's a
There's
lot
a big,
younger.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, and then it goes back to people saying it was fake. I mean, there's some people that you could argue that they took a dive, but like for
You've seen
example that Fedor versus Rampage fight,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one definitely looks fake, dude. You can't convince me
That
otherwise.
was definitely. That was also a very big Rampage.
Yeah.
That was pot.
that's
Rampage.
that's a big boy, man.
That was a big boy who's now actually, again, speaking of Legends boxing fighting Shannon the Cannon Briggs in like an MMA boxing hybrid or crossover event.
Shannon, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Let's go, champ! Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
You know
taking
what?
on
I wanna
Rampage
see that.
Jackson
I
in
really
a
wanna
boxing
see that.
MMA crossover.
Is Shannon's a bit older than?
Yes.
Rampage, right? Yeah. So I want to see that. Now I want to see
But
that.
in much better shape, I'd say.
I think
if
so.
you've seen
Yeah.
Shannon recently, I don't know. You seen Shannon recently?
He's
no one
big.
sees Shannon
I mean, no,
recently.
he's big, but all that muscle don't mean shit. I mean, he's gonna tired out. He's
Yeah,
old.
but he doesn't.
But
I mean,
he
Shannon Briggs is
doesn't-
legitimate boxer.
He's a legit.
I mean, I much respect for him.
My
But
worry though is the fact that I'm pretty sure it's an MMA boxing hybrid fight.
So he
where-
can't. So no kicking then, right?
no,
That's
it's
not
like first round's boxing, second round MMA, first
Oh,
round.
then
Aren't they
Kind of
doing
like
that?
the Demetrius Johnson
Yeah, they're doing
Bontang
that.
fight,
Yeah,
very
I heard
similar.
about that one.
but between two old legends. So we're gonna see how this goes, and my money's on Shannon Cannon Briggs.
Well, I don't know if it's a fucking hybrid. I might go with Rampage.
I don't
Depends-
know.
Well, what rounds first? Is it the boxing or is it the MMA round?
Boxing round first. I believe boxing round first. I
that's gonna be
believe.
interesting.
Rampage does has pretty good defense naturally. Like,
But
rolls and
Shannon's
stuff.
crazy enough to find a way out. I think he's crazy enough to
Is
win.
Rampage still big?
Rampage is still.
Oh,
He's
Rampage
still
is-
plumper than Rampage.
Like his gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still teddy bear Rampage. This is a heavy.
Yeah, Briggs
like
gonna.
me, man.
Shannon's gonna win this.
I
sure.
want to see that other guy. Remember that guy he always called Titties?
Oh,
Remember, like,
yeah.
I swear somebody posted something on Rampage last time he fought like, who you calling Titties?
Titties.
Who you calling titties?
Who you calling titties?
But that is.
But moving on to the main event of that trilogy
Oh,
card before we get
jeez.
on.
Poor Holyfield.
That I was this is a moment where I have to eat crow on this show. I wanted to believe in the hype. Unfortunately, you know, my biases of just being an Evander Holyfield fan and not watching any of the open workouts and just thinking he was still the Evander from a couple of years ago. Dead wrong. I was dead wrong. I fully admit I was dead wrong. I did not expect that much TRT Vitor, and the fact that his hairline somehow he's radioactive. His hairline came back somehow. I don't know how. Like he has a fresh head of hair that
Pisses
was
acid.
not there a few years ago. He just pees out like Tyrannobol and testosterone at this point. I really
Oh
just
my
think
God.
he was on all the juice, all the supplements, all the everything.
Everything.
And Evander Holyfield looked like an old man.
Well, I gotta tell you about Evander Holyfield because I mean I watched him train for the past couple of years on video, and I knew he didn't have it. I mean, he looked great hitting the bag and all that stuff. Looked pretty. I mean, anybody looked pretty hitting the
I
bag, but the
wanted
bag's
to
not hitting
cry
back.
when he almost fell over.
And when he fell,
yeah,
when he fell over, I knew it was over. Like he's done. Like there's no
I
way.
was so sad to see the greatest, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, fall over after throwing a hook. It was just very disheartening, and that was one of those fights where you're just like, this went too far. We should stop this. Like this was cool, a cool trend for legends to fight, but when you watch that and you also see Evander contesting the stoppage, and again the whole fight, you're like, this was not a good idea. We should stop doing this.
Now, was the same card? Or was that the next Triller fight with Fat Joe and Ja Rule?
That's the next Triller fight.
Oh, jeez.
If you did not know that, Daniel Arpajon, Fat Joe is fighting Ja Rule in a Triller fight card.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Who wants to see
I
that?
don't know.
I want no. I
Fat
want.
Joe. I'd like to see Fat Joe.
Hey.
I want to know who actually like. They really want to see that. Like that's what they're thinking about. You know, like
If-
oh,
Get
like
these two old rappers, you know.
Hey,
just-
if Blueface and that TikToker could sell, I think Fat Joe and Ja Rule can sell.
Okay, if we're gonna do this,
I'd rather see Ronald McDonald and the Burger King go in the ring and fight.
if we're gonna do this, I want to see DJ Khaled versus someone.
Oh, man,
That's what I want to see.
DJ Khaled and Rick Ross. Battle of the big boys.
The big boys, the
for
big
the
guts.
Celebrity weight loss challenge.
DJ Khaled, first round. We the best.
We the best.
I would love this.
We got knocked out.
Please, like
Ugh.
if you guys are gonna do celebrity matchups like that, go big. Like,
Go
come
big.
on,
Yeah.
Get the big boys.
yeah. Not Jake Paul. Like he's actually
No.
pissing me off a lot. A lot of fighters actually.
See, I'm with you.
He's
Thank you.
pissing off a lot of fighters, man.
Before we get into Jake Paul, though, what was your thought on that main event with Holyfield and TRT Tour?
Yeah, it broke my heart. I
we
get.
were all crying.
When I first heard the announcement, when I heard who was it? It was De La Hoya, right? I was
Yes.
like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, Holyfield is taking his place. I'm like, oh hell yeah, you know. And then all of a sudden, I remember that Holyfield, he's what, 58?
58.
Yeah, I remember he was like in his 50s, late 50s, going 60, and I'm like, and then I looked at
Talking a little bit
Vitor.
funny, just a little bit funny.
Now, you think it would have been different if it was De La Hoya? You think De La Hoya would get him a good fight?
I think it'd be more
No,
competitive.
I think so too. I think it would have been way more competitive because De La Hoya, at least, he was in much better shape.
Yeah.
You know,
Speed.
yeah. And have you seen his training videos?
He looked good.
Well, he's not even training for fights. Some of these, you know, he's just training.
Yeah.
And like listening to him on Hot Boxing too, he still had that fire because he was talking about what retirement life was like. A little bit depressing, not gonna lie, because he was just kind of saying how he kind of doesn't like his life that much right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I still got that fire and I still got that thing to compete and all that. Which is why I was excited because you could see like he still wants it, still wants to be that boxer and that
Yep.
guy. And COVID.
Yep, that got him, and that broke my heart, man.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously.
I was really rooting, man. I was like,
I'm
damn.
excited.
And then he got the juicy juice too. He got the juicy juice up
He
in
had
his
the
arm.
TRT going on.
And then he, once I saw Vitor, I'm sorry. Once I saw
You
Vitor,
were
I
about
was
to say
gonna
TRT tour.
Titor. Once I saw him, man, I was like, I really was like,
I'm telling you, power in the hairline.
yeah, man. There was some mightiness going on in that hair, And I was just at that point, I just cringed. I was like, "No, Holyfield,
Yeah.
buddy, you know, you have nothing to prove. Please,
No.
Please.
I
I so hope he got paid all the money.
Oh,
all
yeah.
the money to never do this again.
Yeah,
I don't want to
please.
see this again, Evander. Like, please
I say that because I
keep
care.
your legacy. I say that because I don't want to
I
see
wanna
you die young. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather see Shaq and what's his name, Chuck, go at it.
What?
Oh
Shaq and
yeah, that would be a good one.
Shaq
Shaq,
versus who?
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley. That would be a fun. I
would be
mean,
a
Trilla's
fun
doing all this shit.
celebrity
Might as well
one.
put them together because they're always talking all this shit on NBA.
No, Charles Barkley would die.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Shaq is going to.
What's your
annihilate him.
celebrity matchup? We've came up from the
Probably
Fat
Scarlett
Joe.
Johansson and probably what is that girl?
Megan
I love
Fox.
Robert Heasley. Just goes.
Megan Fox.
Maybe Fox would go on.
Ooh.
Nah, I want to see Megan
Oh,
Fox
again,
and,
against the girl that played Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Gal
Gal
Gadot.
Gadot.
Yeah. One of these both make pretend action stars for real.
ScarJo and Gal Gadot.
No, that's Star Jones, bro.
Never mind. All right.
I'd love to see
Who's
it.
Star Jones? That's
Who's
it.
Scarlett
That's-
Johansson.
Oh, he said Star Jones. How about that
said
top
Scar
girl?
Jones.
Like,
That's what I'm thinking.
No.
Star Jones.
Oh.
talk about me? Mm-hmm.
Oh. Scarlett Johansson, sir.
What about
She got skinny.
Oh, we came up with DJ Khaled versus Rick Ross for our celebrity drama.
That'd be
Hey.
killer.
That's a good one. If we're gonna go big boys, let's go big.
There'd be a lot of
Yeah, I
security at
gotta
that
say.
fight. A lot of
That's a good
security.
one.
What about one of the movie martial artists?
Oh,
Those guys. I want to
What
see
about-
Donnie Yen. I want to
Donnie
see.
Yen versus who?
Michael J. White. I don't know.
Michael J.
I
White.
can watch
He's
that.
heavier
I'll
than
watch
them.
that.
Never mind. No, Michael J. White too
What about
big.
Donnie Yen and that Indonesian guy?
Which one?
He's in like Wu Assassins and like. you
Isn't
know-
that the guy that played Ombak or something?
No, that guy's dope too. Huh?
What was it? Tony Jaa?
Tony Jaa.
Yeah,
would
he would be great.
Do the versus fucking what's his name? Fucking fake ass kickboxer.
Jean-Claude Van
Oh,
Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Not John He's real.
Billy Blanks.
He's
What's his
real.
fucking name?
Oh,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Seagal.
Seagal. It'd be cool to see Seagal against someone.
Seagal still has it.
Sure.
He's
Dude,
still,
Did he
he's
have
still,
Did he ever?
Did he ever?
well, no, okay,
He's an
well,
actor, bro. This ain't WWE,
No,
bro.
bro. He taught Anderson Silva that fucking front kick.
Oh yeah. He
hello,
did.
hello.
I gotta ask Anderson, please teach me. Teach me the.
And then, what's his name?
Teach you what Steven Toots taught you.
I want to know.
Ed O'Neill, jiu-jitsu guy. He did a lot of jiu-jitsu in his life.
Okay, I'll watch Ed O'Neill versus
Ed
Ashton
O'Neill's
Kutcher.
From-
against a black
How did I
belt.
say Ashton Kutcher's
Ashton
like a
Kutcher
blue
versus
belt?
Ed
If you don't know who Ed O'Neill is, Al Bundy. Al Bundy from Family Guy. I mean, from Married with Children.
Al Bundy and the kid from the '70s show. Let's do it.
I'm like trying to
Who's-
think. We'll go one more rapper one, and then we'll move on to the UFC
One more
card
rap
for
one?
fun celebrity. We'll keep it in.
I want to
music.
see. Ooh, I want to see either Drake or
Kanye, Drake and
Drake.
Kanye's. That's a
Drake
good
and
one.
Kanye. That would be a great one.
I'd like to see Jay-Z and Kanye.
Who's like
Jay-Z
the newest
and
like
Kanye?
rap beef that's like
I
going
wanna
on
see-
right now? That'd be
I
fun.
wouldn't mind seeing-
It's nothing about these newer guys. These new mumble rappers.
These
and
new
all
mumble
that.
rappers
How
are
about-
so
how about
weird.
Chris Brown versus Justin Bieber.
Nah.
Nah.
There's got to be a little more like somebody's a little more tougher to face. Chris is athletic.
We don't
I
want to
feel
see
like it's
Chris
slap
Brown hit
somebody.
another girl, man. Come on.
Oh,
But doesn't Justin Bieber train with Floyd?
Did he ever really?
Yeah,
he does.
Trained with Floyd for a while.
Oh, all right.
I guess.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But is he
Maybe
good?
it's
Is he
exciting.
good? That's
the- good.
Maybe.
I know that Chris Brown.
He come in with some like kind of weird
What's that one guy-
spirituality stuff, you know.
That'd be cool. That'd be funny.
Justin Bieber really turned into a little like he got interesting as a
Wiz
human
Khal-
being.
How about
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa versus?
Three
Oh,
Chainz.
Wiz can fight. Yeah,
Two
Wiz
Chainz.
is good.
With that dude that throws the uppercuts like this.
Oh,
Stephen A. Smith?
Stephen A. Smith. I was about to say that. Like, let's get that guy in.
Let's get Stephen A. Smith against anybody to just see how like finally.
I'll
for him
do
to pay
it.
For how terrible.
No.
I'll cut the weight. I'll do it.
Hey, George Francis, if you're
I'll
watching,
take you
who's your
on,
celebrity
you know,
match? If you're watching.
commentator for commentator Stephen A. Smith in a boxing match.
I'll do it, Steven.
Freddie, let's do Atlas versus fucking.
Freddie Roach.
No, not Freddie Roach.
Oh, that's
It's
messed
not a
up.
fight. That's a debate. At that point,
a debate.
they're just gonna be talking about how they're training the guy. You're gonna be sitting there like,
Just like yeah. Oh, all right.
You guys think Manny Pacquiao's done?
Yes. I think he's done.
He needs to fight a Logan, and then he'll be done.
Actually,
I
that
don't
could
think
happen.
they'll-
I can believe that.
They won't sanction that. His man is way too small.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
I don't
right.
know.
Oh.
Connor. There was talks of Connor fighting him. You know, Connor Manning.
Connor MGK.
That would be a good
That'd
one.
be- that'd be
That was
good.
a hilarious. Like, I love how
The winner
people
gets a chick.
were trying.
Megan.
People were like trying to. Be
Oh yeah, that happened this weekend.
it
Huh?
did,
Video
yeah.
awards.
I've completely forgot they have beef now or something.
Yeah,
what
they
what
just-
was that
He
about?
said he didn't like his
Oh,
music.
Conor McGregor asked Megan Fox for a photo, and MGK said no, which started the altercation.
Oh, really?
I guess. It was
Damn.
very. But also, what MGK doesn't realize is like, I get you're the tough guy and the bad boy of rap. That's an actual fighter. That man's a
Yeah.
lion.
He'll fuck
like,
you
that's
up.
not. He will mess you
At
up.
that point, I'll put my life savings on Connor.
Yeah, I will put all my money on Conor. Like, granted, you had that one, I think it was Paper Cuts, where you see MGK fight a little bit, got a legitimate fight on camera, but you're seeing him throw, he can extend out a punch or two. I don't think you're beating Conor McGregor, dog. Like,
Yeah, here you go, Megan. Just take a picture. Hurry up.
Yeah, just
Thank you.
stick it.
that's hilarious, too, how he was, like, running off the cloud of that, like, yeah, got him, punked him, and I'm like, did you really, though? Like, is anybody really thinking you're that tough from that?
But I think Connor was liquored up from that private plane he was taking all the way to New York to when he got there because I follow his IG now. He was serving his whiskey to
When
the
is he not
whole
liquored
His
up?
proper 12.
his proper 12. He was drinking all the way from there from when he
The
got
man
picked up,
drinks
dropped
all the
off,
time.
flight over, drinking all the way to the MTV Music Awards. That guy
Has
was
anyone
nonstop.
actually ever had proper 12 here?
I had.
How is it?
It's really good. I have actually a bottle, pour it in my little fancy little glass thing,
sure?
sitting there. It's really
I've
nice.
never heard anybody, like,
'cause I
most
hear-
people go in between, like, one or the other, where they either hate it or they love it. I've never heard somebody who's like,
Because I'm hearing from Joey Diaz that it tastes like piss water.
I don't know. We had it at Long Beach, the fight thing when
fought Joey Diaz?
Blake Truth. No, Blake Truth. He brought it over, but we had that proper.
You had it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm
That's-
not a fan of whiskey, but it was alright.
Yeah.
Was it? Anyone else? No?
Joey Diaz.
I know a bunch of people who tried it. I've never really had the interest. Where I'm like,
Well,
eh.
once you get old like me, you'll tend to love the finer things in life.
With wine.
With wine.
Pinkies
I'm
up.
a young 22-year-old who loves drinking like.
It is cheap. You can buy at Trader Joe's for like
Pickle
$10.
Yeah.
Pickle juice
When
and
you
cheap
enjoy the
whiskey.
finer things of life, like picklebacks.
We're not talking about your girlfriend you made out with at the.
No. All right, moving on to the fights of this weekend. All right, like,
You can tell me that story later. But
I will. Fight his
but
rep.
Robert, if you want to bring up the fights for this
don't have the
weekend.
computer today.
Oh, you don't got the computer today? All right. Well, we're just gonna run it all off my phone on this one. But kicking off this
you like
great fight card, we got
Yeah.
Anthony Smith taking on Ryan Superman Span, and we got kicking off this great card, Joaquin Buckley or Numansa taking on Antonio Arroyo in this fight. Joaquin Buckley, who's coming into the UFC, who's just, had an interesting UFC career so far. He came in, got knocked out by Kevin Holland, and then had that incredible highlight reel, like crazy ninja style kick against Impa Kasanganay. Then in his next fight, got a great TKO win over a good fighter as well. But then took on Alessio Chirico and got highlight reeled, head kick KO'd again, reverse. He's coming back at middleweight. Personally, I don't think that's the best weight class for him, considering he is 5'8" and doesn't have
He's
like
going
the
up?
longest reach. Yeah, he is going up.
That sounds
He does have long arms with 76 inches, so he does have the length to really kind of cover up that height. But again, the problem with that, like you can see in the Alessio Chirico fight, that opens for a lot of head kicks, a lot of just different attacks. Where when you're the shorter guy and you're taking on these big middleweights with power, they could potentially put your lights out, especially when you're the type of fighter that he is, where he's trying to move forward and he maybe take like one or two to give you that one big shot, But Antonio Arroyo, has just had kind of a bit of an up and a down, within his UFC career. Was supposed to come in as like this really great striker, but has kind of struggled going, I believe, 1-3 in the promotion since he's came in. And I really like Joaquin Buckley on this one. I think he's just going to kind of close the distance and really kind of overpressure Antonio Arroyo. He's kind of more, I'd say, he's got a good striking skill set, but kind of needs a lot more range and a lot more just kind of space to really use his skill set. And I just think Joaquin Buckley's just going to close the distance and just use that power.
Buckley.
I don't know. I'm predicting. Remember Hendricks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm predicting that situation when he went up to 205.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and even then, I don't think he lost that bad because who was he fighting? Was it Latif or someone? I forgot who it was, but he had a 205 fight, and all I remember is that he looked like ass, and both front and back.
Yeah.
And then the dude is I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I'm cringing, and I'm just like, I'm watching this guy who was a great welterweight, and now because he just couldn't stop freaking stuffing his face with barbecue ribs. Now here he is at 205s, and
I love how his weight cut answer too. Like when he was talking about his diet, he's just like, "Yeah, I just eat the cheeseburger, but without the fries."
Without the fries.
Like,
Did you
listen into his diet? And you're like, this doesn't work, Johnny. That's not how you weight cut.
Do you remember? There's a story where his old wrestling coach would actually go to all the fast food places around the school and would put his picture, say, "Do not let this guy eat here. Do not serve him. Do not service him at all." That apparently that's what I heard, and that killed me because I was about to do the same thing for one of my wrestlers when I was teaching. I started like because he was a little crap, but like, I don't know. Going up in weight class when you shouldn't be there, you know.
He does have a lot of muscle mass, though. He's a big guy.
That could easily go against you.
Very.
It's so. I'm going with Antonio.
He's going with Antonio Arroyo. All right.
I'm making a blind guess.
Making a blind guess. I respect it. We got a great bantamweight fight, one I'm pretty excited for. We have Nathan Maness taking on Tony Gravely. We know what Nathan Maness brings to the table. He's a really big bantamweight. Oddly enough, on Google, he's had a few different heights tracked in. He's came in at 5'10", 5'8", 5'9", but, can still make it down to that 135 limit. Nothing of his game particularly stands out. Decent, well-rounded fighter, decent defensive grappling, good boxing. With Tony Gravely, similar story, but if there's one skill set that does stand out, I'd say it's his wrestling. He has, I believe, 6.1 takedowns per UFC fight or per 15-minute matches. I think this fight, as long as Tony can manage his cardio well and not be oversized by Nathan Maness's reach and his length, I think this is going to be Tony's fight, and I think he's just going to take it to the ground, just kind of ground and pound and keep him down there for the decision. But Nathan Maness is a decent counterpuncher with using that length and using those striking skills. But I like Tony Gravely on this one.
I got Tony.
Tony.
Taking wrestling.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a bias. It's a bias. I can't vote for anyone else.
I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but we come from a wrestling heavy school. It's a bias here too. I take wrestling all day.
Wrestlers, man.
It works,
Hate
it
him.
just works.
It sucks. It just works. All right, and then moving on, a fight I'm very, very excited for. One that's really interesting.
Christos.
We have Christos Yagos taking on Arman
My boy.
Sarukian. We have Arman Sarukian coming in at the favorite. He's not the biggest lightweight. He's 5'6" with a 72.5-inch reach. Good, well-rounded fighter. If there's one thing that really does kind of stick out, it's probably his counter-striking. For Christos Yagos, he is a good, well-rounded fighter, good vet, very experienced, very well-rounded game. Coming in at 5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. The one thing I do worry about him for this fight is his gas tank. I think this is what that fight may come down to. Arman, looks like he has potential, within the division really to move up. But this is definitely going to be a test for him on this one. I bounced on this one back and forth. Both fighters have really well-rounded game and have faced really experienced opponents within the past. But I'm liking the younger man on this one. I think he's got a little more momentum, and I believe Christos Yagos' last fight was around last year. So he's had a bit of a layoff since then, and Arman has been a little more active. So I'm taking the younger guy and the more active one on this one.
The thing about Christos is that this comes from also I've known Christos for a bit because he is and was a Black House guy.
Oh, both were.
Yeah.
They're both now in Florida.
Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, don't make me
Arman's
choose.
in
I'm not
ATT,
going to choose.
And then Christos Yagos is at what's that other? Not Sanford MMA. There's another big one down in Florida. I can't quite remember it.
Don't make
but
me
yeah,
choose.
they're both down in Florida now, and they both have trained together at Black House.
Don't make me choose.
I like
It's
Crisco
up to you.
oil.
Come on. Let's see if we can get it out of him.
Well,
Just say the first name you said before, bro. You know for a while.
I mean, you were down with Christos before.
I am, but the other guy, I remember him, and he's a pretty cool guy. So I'm like,
Just show love for both.
I can't say both.
Okay, Chris.
It's not one of those situations. You don't see both. Do or die in this.
I know,
But-
all the pressure, Daniel.
All right.
Come on.
Because I consider him a good pal. Chris does.
There you go.
Because
I'm going
of
with
good friendship. We're taking friendship on that fight. All right, moving on. To
Christos,
the women's
I swear to
flyweight- Christos, I swear. We're all friends here. All right, but moving on to the women's flyweight fight. One that actually I broke down a couple of weeks on the show, but got rescheduled because I believe Ariana Lipski got COVID a few weeks ago. You know, there was some due, but now it's rebooked. Now it's on. We have Ariana Lipski taking on Mandy Boom, you know, the German prospect. Mandy Boom is coming in undefeated, making her UFC debut. She has some Bellator experience, facing some good high-level opponents. Ariana Lipski, I believe, was a KSW champ and came into the UFC with a lot of hype, but unfortunately has not lived up to the hype, as we've seen before, time and time again. You know, it's kind of one of those fights where it's really, she has a lot of motivation because it's really coming down to, if you don't win this one, there's a good chance you may get cut because she's 1-3 within her last 3 fights. And Mandy Boom is coming off a year layoff, but Ariana Lipski just had her last fight 3 months ago. So she's been a lot more active, especially through the pandemic. But as we both discussed and fighters discussed on the show, everyone's kept training, everyone's kept healthy. And, you know, you've seen a lot of these fights with coming out of this pandemic this past year where you're seeing fighters that are good high-level fighters, but they haven't had a fight within a year or two, potentially. And so there is a bit of ring rust on that one. But the thing that I really like in this fight is the fact that everything that Mandy Boom does well is pretty much Ariana Lipski's weakness.
Yeah.
You know, we thought she's kind of one of the, when you look at Ariana Lipski on paper, you think she'd be, you know, your traditional great Muay Thai striker within MMA. A little bit more of like a Muay Thai artist, I'd say, within MMA. Kind of similar almost to like a Bay Malaki almost, where, yes, she was great in Muay Thai, but her style is very different when it comes to MMA, where she's kind of more, a little bit, uses a little more reach, a little more boxing, tries to use some decent grappling to get the fight to the ground, to kind of just grind it out and really win the decision. When it comes to Mandy Boom, though, I think Mandy Boom's just going to use too much volume and just be too active for her and just kind of put her in those uncomfortable spots, really kind of get her down, use that clinch and get her up against the cage to take her down, just kind of ground and pound her to a decision. I like Mandy Boom on this one. I'm sticking to my last pick that I took 2 weeks ago and taking the German prospect, Mandy Boom.
I haven't seen any of them fight, so I'm going with your opinion on this. I'm going to go
German
with
prospect.
for German prospect. The German.
Mandy Boom.
Oh, me.
Yes, Joey. You.
Boom.
All right, moving on. A co-main event I'm very excited for a guy who returning to the cage. We have Iwan the Hulk Kutalaba taking on Devin Big Brown Clark. We know what Devin Clark brings to the heavyweight division. Good wrestler. You know, he had an amazing, like, I believe he was on the first UFC Apex card, you know, with no crowd, you know, because I remember, you know, in that fight, you could hear his dad in the background yelling for Devin, going buck wild, just be like, yeah, Devin, go! And, like, you know, you could really, as a fan, get really into it, you know.
Yeah.
But also, too, you saw him struggle against, you know, Anthony Smith, the man headlining this card. With Devin Clark, what he tries to do, take you down, ground and pound, get the judge's decision. Good wrestler. The one thing that I do worry about that is the fact that if he can survive first round Iwan Kutalaba, who's a different kind of beast. Iwan Kutalaba in that first round is coming in with all action, all gas, no brakes, trying to take your head off and put you away. That's also to his greatest detriment because Iwan Kutalaba is not the best, you know, within that third round. Because usually, because he's such a big guy coming at 6'1" with the amount of muscle mass that he has and the explosiveness that he has, like you mentioned before, it kind of works against him. Where within those later rounds, he'll kind of gas out, and just that power and that kind of composure just isn't there. That it was that the same that it was in the first round. Although he does have good grappling and good get-ups and has a wrestling background, he's not a very offensive grappler. So he's trying to look to keep the fight standing and has great get-ups. But I like Devin Clark on this one. My one worry will be the fact that if his gas tanks can stay there. You know, you got to stick out that first round with Kutalaba. Then if you can take him down at least twice and just ground and pound him for that and control him for about 10 minutes, I think it's his fight all day.
Yeah.
But Yuan's coming off a few losses and is very, very motivated. But I like Devin Big Brown Clark on this one. We're sticking to wrestling, and I'm picking the wrestler.
I gotta stick with the wrestler too. As much as I want to root for Kutulaba in this one, because the dude, when he gets going, man. I respect the way he fights, at least, you know? Like, I don't know much about painting himself green and going and yelling at everyone's face, but
the man's definitely savage.
Do you, buddy?
My favorite was like with the Ankalaev, the two Ankalaev fights. He just walks across the cage, and then also too, I love how the security's just like, let's just let him, go all the way. Like, you don't stop him at all, and you see him get in his face. Like,
I gotta go with the wrestler
you're
too.
okay. You're 2 seconds away from fighting that man. Just wait. Like, but we're going with wrestling. Joey,
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash. Joey taking on, the one man with Iwan Kutulaba. But we got this amazing main event, one that I'm pretty excited for. A battle of a very interesting body type within the heavyweight division. We got Anthony Lionheart Smith taking on Ryan Superman Spann. Both guys have faced some of the best within the division. Anthony Smith obviously has a wealth more of experience, coming in at 35-16. Ryan Spann only with 19 fights and 16 losses. Although that is quite a bit of experience. But again, you're talking to a guy who's been there, an OG of the game, a guy who even has days back in Strikeforce, and has fought the who's who of the light heavyweight division. What I like about this fight for Ryan Spann, though, is the fact that he is a little bit bigger against Anthony Smith, and we do see Anthony Smith when it comes to grappling, kind of struggle against those bigger guys. You could see within the Rakic fight, where Rakic was just the more muscular, bigger prospect, and just was able to use that to his advantage. Although Anthony Smith is a very tricky black belt, and almost doesn't get enough credit, I think, for his grappling, where he'll kind of bait you in and set up traps and can kind of keep, at least survive even with some of the best grapplers, like Glover Teixeira, for example, or able to even grind it out and submit guys like Anderson or Gustafsson. With Ryan Superman Spann, though, like, I think that range is going to be an issue. Where he's just going to really kind of use that jab and use that striking to eventually get Anthony Smith down. And I think he'll just be able to out-grapple him and kind of outwork him. With Anthony Smith, it's really going to come down to if he can set the counter trap or the counter punch or whatever it's going to be that is going to catch Ryan Spann, where he's going to come in and get probably a little bit too confident with, in my opinion. The one thing, the other factor that I do worry for Ryan Spann for this fight is his cardio. He's a big guy with a lot of muscle mass. He's about 6'4". He even has been tracked in at 6'5", and he has to cut a little bit to make that 205 limit. Anthony Smith's a little bit more of a natural light heavyweight, so he's gonna have a little bit more cardio going into this fight. I've been bouncing around all day on this one. I'm taking Anthony Lionheart Smith on this one.
I agree.
I like the experience on this one. I think Ryan Spann has a little bit more fights to go before we can start considering him for that kind of top 10, top 15 in the world.
The thing is that with especially Anthony Smith, I'm a fan. I love him. But the thing about most guys that fight for the title and lose, and again, I think it's one of those fights where he really did have it, Like, he really could have had it. It's just that it's like a curse almost. It's like after they fight for the title, they just start losing after. They just don't perform as well as they did. I don't know if that's something that only I notice.
No, it happens all the time.
That's my only concern. I want Anthony Smith in this. I hope he wins, but you never know because stuff like that happens. And I don't know what it is. I just can't pinpoint it.
It's interesting though, like almost like ever since they had that home invasion. Where you could see, like, there was something that's been a little bit different within Anthony Smith, where you kind of wonder, where is this guy's head at? You know? Where you go through that much of, like, winning the world title, or no, not winning the world title, fighting for the world title, having the chance to win it, even off a disqualification, you kind of have some ups and downs, and there's some debate of whether you're at the top of the division. On top of it as well, you go through a crazy traumatic experience where you're literally fighting for your life against a drug addict.
Yeah.
He's had a lot going on this one.
Exactly. So, Who knows? That might be also a thing that puts him in that killer's mindset, you know.
Yeah.
So you never know. And sometimes it gets, for some people, it works like this for me specifically. I'll go through a very stressful time, and then when I get to a fight, I'm just like, well, this ain't nothing, you know. So you never know. This might actually calm him down. So I'm gonna go with Anthony Smith, personally.
Same here, Anthony Smith. So all day. Now, biggest thing right now. Big shout outs to all your sponsors out there before we end the show.
I want to say shout out to Bad Matchup. You guys are the best. God bless you. Shout out to Our Life CBD. We got Ma LA. They sell some pretty badass sandals. If you're looking for some good sandals, man.
I am a sandal man.
So look it up. It's affordable too. It's like orthopedic sandals. You know, like those really very comfy. I have a pair at home. And hey, man, I love them. I like it, and he keeps making them better. So
Nice.
So that's my shout outs. Love you guys.
Where can they find your IG?
Huh?
Or your social media? Where can they find you on social media? There you
Right now, I'm only active on Instagram at the Raging Bull, the.raging.bull, and that's.
Don't get confused with me, because I'm the handsome bull. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, anyway, talking about bullshit. Let's go Steelers. Raiders and get their ass kicked this weekend. Can't wait. Anyway,
by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's gonna happen. Please.
stupid Raider fans, as I'm telling
You
you.
know what? You know what Pittsburgh Steelers fans are?
Oh, here we go.
Raider fans who can't speak Spanish.
I mean, that's true.
It's true.
But anyway,
But
folks,
shout out to my Instagram, Adam.Irby on Instagram.
and join the bull everywhere, all over the place. TikTok, you can see me. Remember, I'm dancing, looking all pretty on all social medias because I'm getting handsome every day. Once again, thank you once again, Raging Bull, for coming on our show. We'll see you next week. Peace out.